I just want to say, I think it's so sick that I will not be sleeping tonight just from how terrifying this movie is. What's up, you guys? It's Jonathan Carter, and today we are going to be talking about Smile 2. This review is going to be mostly spoiler-free up until a certain section. I'm going to put the time code here. If you want to talk just spoilers, jump to that time. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I'm going to put up a big warning once spoilers come up. Then you can skip to the end of the video. All that being said, let's talk about the world of Smile for a second. For people unaware of the plot of the Smile movies, there is this demonic entity that latches onto people, and eventually the host of that goes so incredibly mad, insane, that the entity just ends up killing them. They kill themselves in front of somebody else, and the person that witnesses that tragedy has that spirit entity passed on to them. Rinse and repeat. Let the chain continue. The whole big point of it is this demonic entity shows up in person as this person that just smiles at you. So there are terrifying scenes of these people like I can't even do it. Smile started as this short film that got created into this major motion picture of Smile, and I'm pretty sure the first movie was rather successful, so then they greenlit the second one and the story continued. All that being said, I'm a very big fan of the first Smile movie. I went into it not really expecting much. The trailers made it look pretty cheesy, pretty cheap. My fiance and I enjoyed it so much. So when they announced the second one, I was like, I'm down. I'm going to see this 100%. I was a little worried that it might not hold up to the surprise of the first Smile, but I'm just going to say it right now. This movie's good, y'all. This movie is really good. If you're a fan of the first Smile, you are going to like this one. Before we really jump into this review, please be sure to like and subscribe. That would really help me out a lot. And also let me know your thoughts in the comments on not only Smile 2, but Smile. If you've seen both of them, let me know your thoughts on that below. And with that, let's kick this off with the positives. If you thought the first Smile was spooky, scary, and you were wondering, does this movie up the ante of horror in any way? There's no way it could. Oh, it does. This movie is on every scale bigger than the first one, more intense, super dreadful, just in the best way possible. Just the world that it builds, it does what any successful sequel, good sequel does, and it expands and fleshes out the world of the first film. This one follows a pop singer played fantastically by Naomi Scott. She is phenomenal in this movie, as she has this entity attached onto her, goes mad. You see her descent into this world of this demon possessing her. One of the best things, just besides about how creepy and unsettling they are, is because the narrator is losing their mind, it makes for this story that isn't 100% true or reliable. So there's massive things that will happen, and then you find out that the main person it's happening to imagined all of it. This demon put it into their mind. None of it happened, and that happens so many times throughout this film. It just creates like this story where you're like, what is happening? I don't know what to believe. Watching Naomi Scott lose her mind. Naomi Scott plays a pop singer that is a recovering drug addict, alcoholic, and so to have somebody, she plays somebody that's sober, but then they end up losing their mind because of this possession. And to see her play that, like, just freak out, fall into this descent, into this madness. Oh my gosh, she plays it so expertly, y'all. It is, I was like genuinely just freaked out and moved by how well she played a person on like this psychotic break. So big takeaways here of the positives, just how much bigger the story goes. It feels like Smile on steroids times 1,000. Where the narrative goes, the scares, this all around sense of dread, and the way Naomi Scott plays this character, phenomenal. Last thing here in the positives, the movie does have a very strong opening that plays right after pretty much the events of the first Smile. I was hooked from the start. I was like, this is great. I'm here. Let's do it. Bring us into the mixed. Like the first Smile, like I said, I enjoyed the first Smile, but that movie did have some cheesy horror elements to it, and where if you kind of stopped and think like that wouldn't really work, like that, does that really make sense? This movie has those moments as well, and a lot of them are actually towards the beginning of the film, right after the really strong opening. It kind of takes a second to get moving. It repeats a few of the scares from the first film to varying degrees of success. And I think because we have this unreliable narrator that is losing their mind, you don't know what is real. The movie plays a little too into that. It's easy to get lost and think like, what is really real? Feel a little cheated by that. Felt a little better to have some more closure in what exactly the character, our main character here, Naomi Scott, experienced in this madness descent. Bring us into the negatives. If you were hoping for something that explained what exactly is happening, where did this come from, you're not going to get that. There is a lot in this movie that follows the events of the first film and chooses not to go further, and I'm fine with that. I was kind of hoping we might get a few answers. You don't. The movie definitely still leaves a lot open-ended. So, wrapping this one up with a big spoiler talk here. Skip to this time code if you don't want to hear anything of spoilers. That ending, y'all, where, oh my gosh, she just does that on stage and in front of like thousands of people, leaves so much open for the third Smile. If I hope that they make one, because now that's what I'm saying. It opens up the door of like all these people saw her kill herself, and maybe that was on national television or something. Like, what is gonna happen? You know, like what, like, how does that? Where are they gonna go in a third one? I'm very curious about that. And then that opening with the guy, I cannot think of his name, from the first movie, was so good. It was so strong of him trying to get rid of the entity. I was like already hooked from the beginning with that. How he ends up dying and then it gets passed to the guy. I was like, this is great. This is great storytelling here. But like I said earlier in the review, the fact that so much at the end where she's in the freezer or that whole thing where her friend is driving her and then none of it's real, and then she's like back on stage and her mom is still alive, so none of that stuff at the hospital happened. I understand the entity really took over her and they wanted to like up the ante, throw this curveball at you being the second movie. It was a little much. Like, I think it was a big surprise and it was great how like none of that was really real and she still went on stage and everything like that. I think it was a little far-fetched that we would really go that far without seeing what actually happened, and that so by the time the movie ends, it has this really great ending of her passing it on to thousands of people, but we also don't really know exactly how she got there. Where was she? None of that stuff in the freezer was real. None of that stuff in the car was real. Like, it felt like I'm a little on the fence about that. Wrapping this one up, I'm a big fan of the first Smile, and I'm a big fan of Smile 2. I think they are just on par with each other. This would make for an awesome back-to-back watch because they feel so connected. Quality is exactly the same. Thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It's a great horror film. I definitely recommend it. I'm going to give Smile 2 a 7.5 out of 10. And on a see it, stream it, or skip it, I'm going to go with see it. And y'all, it feels so good to finally say that about a movie again. Go to the theater, go see it. My theater loved this movie. People were laughing, people were screaming, people were, oh my gosh, it was so good. Go see this in a group of people in a theater. Go see it on the big screen. I really like this movie, if you can't tell. With that being said, let me know your thoughts on not only Smile 2, but also on Smile. Did you enjoy this movie? Did you enjoy the first movie? Have you seen either one of them? Are you going to check them out? What did you think of my review? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Sound off all of that below in the comments. I'm not going to be sleeping tonight. I'm pretty terrified. I'm like checking behind me if there's something there. Please be sure to like and subscribe. That would really help me out a lot. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next one.